Greetings to all the aspirants present out there. This is Chandigarh Civil Services. आज का जो टॉपिक रहेगा that is your weekly current affair का सेक्शन रहेगा in which we will specifically talk about some means oriented topic plus कुछ small news will be there, specifically your prelims oriented news will be there. Fine. So आपका एक मेंस के टॉपिक्स के पर्सपेक्टिव से one very important report which is being released by your World Bank, that is your air pollution in South Asia. Fine. So this particular news is very very important. Fine. This particular news is released by your World Bank. देखिए, whenever any particular report which is being released by any international bodies बहुत ज़्यादा important हो जाती है. There will be some factual details जो आपके whether it's essay part or your answer writing for the GS, वो आपका automatically that get very important for your means answer writing. Fine. So this particular air pollution की एक report release की है. Fine. Before we dig into what exactly this particular report आपकी क्या चीज़ें बोल रही हैं, let's talk about here air pollution. Fine. जब हम air pollution की बात करते हैं, this particular problem is not only confined to a one particular nation. It is solely covering your whole nation, whole countries throughout globally. They are getting impacted by it. Fine. That's why every nation have to be a part of the solution, not a part of the pollution. So that means a very very integrated approach is needed throughout और globally हमें क्या है, ये particular problem को tackle करने के लिए आपकी integrated approach की need ही है. Fine. Otherwise what will happen, these particular replications इसका ये रहेगा, it will wipe out, either we have to wipe out the pollution or it will wipe out the mankind. Fine. So let's dig into this particular topic. देखिए, जब हम current status की बात करते हैं, if I talk about your current status of the air pollution in India, then the situation is not very glittery, because there are certain facts, there are the certain data जो हमें which are the very eye opener to us. Fine. So these facts you can use, this is very important. देखिए, annually if I talk about in India, annually about 12.5% deaths जो हो रही हैं इंडिया में, that is caused by the air pollution. Fine. So that is such a huge number कि यहाँ पे around 12.5% of the people they are dying because of the air pollution. Fine. Along with that, जितनी आपकी around globally, if I talk about, around 31 polluted cities are there, out of which 21 out of 31 they are found in India. They are found in India. So that means India में क्या है, there are a lot of cities which are under the grip of your air pollution. Along with that, yes, there are the certain very sensitive or vulnerable section of the society, that is the children. Fine. Children, around 1 lakh children, they are die annually. Fine. They die annually because of the air pollution. Along with that, if I talk about, there are a lot of water bodies which is present in India. About उसमें से out of 86% of the Indian water bodies जो हैं, Indian water bodies, they are critically polluted. Fine. So see the factual detail. Fine. This particular factual detail is giving us eye opener to us. It is giving a lot of hints. There is a need to tackle this particular problem. Fine. So let's dig into what exactly this report is saying. देखिए, ये जो particular report है, that is released by your World Bank. As you all are aware, this World Bank is earlier abbreviated as a IBRD. This is particular international body which is providing a loans. This is nothing but it is providing a loans to underdeveloping and your developing countries. Fine. So ये जो आपकी particular report थी, उसमें particular highlighted जो इसमें बताया गया है, that is where if I talk about finding. तो देखिए, according to this particular report, it is saying, it is titled as striving for clean air in South Asia. The efforts by the government are inadequate to tackle the problem of air pollution. Fine. So if I talk about the gist of this particular report, तो ये चीज बोलती है कि जो clean air है साउथ इंडिया में, वहाँ पे जो जितने भी गवर्नमेंट्स हैं, their efforts is not up to the mark. Fine. In order to tackle the air pollution, that's why a very very integrated approach is needed among your South Asian countries. Fine. So देखिए, this is the particular gist of it. But अगर if I talk about your major highlights, if I talk about your major highlights of this particular report, then very explicitly एक वहाँ पे एक particular term they had used, that is your air sheds. Fine. This air shed terminology is very very important. According to the report ऐसा माना गया है कि अराउंड साउथ एशिया में अराउंड 6 ऐसे एयर शेड्स मिल रहे हैं. फाइन. एंड these are the certain particular geographical areas. अगर मैं एयर शेड की बात करूं, दिस इज नथिंग, एक पर्टिकुलर geographical एरिया होगा जहां पे आपकी जो एयर क्वालिटी रहेगी ड्यू टू एनी geographical कंडीशन दैट इज सेम. फाइन. अगर एयर क्वालिटी उस पर्टिकुलर जियोग्राफिकल एरिया की डिटोरेट हो जाती है, दैट इज लार्ज पर्टिकुलर जियोग्राफिकल एरिया है, वहां की अगर एयर क्वालिटी अगर डिटोरेट होगी, व्हाट विल हैपन, that particular pollutants will not only confine to those particular area, but it has the tendency to intrude into the nearby cities also. Fine. So यही आपके 6 air sheds आपके यहाँ पे explicitly mention किए गए हैं. Fine. So let's see what are these air sheds. Fine. Okay. 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 First air shed, if I talk about your first air shed, then that is confined to your western or central Indo-Gangetic plains. Fine. So first air shed जो है, this particular area जहाँ पे आपका पंजाब, fine, both in India and Pakistan it is talking about. Then your some part of the Haryana, then some part of the Rajasthan also, and along with that Chandigarh and Delhi. These fall under this particular air shed. Fine. Second जो उन्होंने बात की है, that is your central और ईस्टर्न इंडो-गैंगेटिक प्लेन. ईस्टर्न इंडो-गैंगेटिक प्लेन जहां पे आपका बिहार प्लस योर वेस्ट बंगाल वाला पार्ट आ जाएगा, एंड योर झारखंड, along with that your neighboring country, that is your Bangladesh is also there. Fine. And then third one is your middle India also. मिडिल इंडिया में आपका स्पेसिफिकली इफ आई टॉक अबाउट, दैट इज योर ईस्टर्न पार्ट आ जाएगा जहां पे आपका ओडिशा एंड छत्तीसगढ़ इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. ओके. देन आपका फोर्थ एयर शेड जो है, दैट इज योर अगेन दिस इज योर मिडिल इंडिया, बट इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट योर वेस्टर्न पार्ट जहां पे आपका गुजरात का ईस्टर्न पार्ट आ जाएगा प्लस महाराष्ट्र का योर वेस्टर्न पार्ट इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. फाइन. देन सिक्स्थ एयर शेड जो है, दैट इज योर नदर्न और सेंट्रल इंडस रिवर प्लेन्स. ओके. जिसमें आपका पाकिस्तान एंड अफगानिस्तान वाला रीजन जो है वहां पे इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. देन आपका जो सिक्स्थ वन है, दैट इज योर सदर्न इंडस प्लेन्स. ये जो सदर्न इंडस प्लेन है वहां पे आपका पाकिस्तान का सदर्न पार्ट आ जाएगा, along with that Afghanistan का southern part will be there, and along with that eastern part of your Iran. Fine. So these are the certain air sheds हैं. Fine. These are the certain air sheds हैं. What is the biggest problem with these air shed is that not only your the quality of the air is deteriorated, but these अगर आप इनका एरिया देखेंगे, these are not isolated. If they are not isolated, what will happen? यहाँ पे अगर problem हो रही है, that will have tendency to intrude into the nearby area also. Fine. So one thing which you need to note down is this air sheds, these are not isolated. When this is not isolated, so एक चीज में problem होगी, it has the repercussion can be seen in the other region also. Fine. So that's why a very very integrated approach is needed in order to tackle this particular problem. Fine. अब देखिए, if I talk about your air pollution, there are various type of the different air pollution. Fine. There are different factor which is responsible for it. Fine. So let's see what are the different pollutant. देखिए, एक very conventional जो pollutant की अगर मैं बात करती हूँ, that is your CO2. But अगर साउथ एशिया में अगर मैं स्पेसिफिकली बात करूँ, तो बिगेस्ट आपका जो pollutant है यहाँ पे, that is your biggest pollutant, जो आपका biggest pollutant है, that is your PM 2.5. Fine. So that means along with your conventional pollutant like your CO2, NOx, that is a nitrous oxide, sulfurous dioxide, then certain aerosols. Fine. Aerosols, you all are aware, this is nothing but these are the certain suspended particulate matters in the air. Fine. Jahan pe, if I talk about, it can be categorized into particulate matter that is 2.5 and particular matter that is your 10. But this particular 2.5, this is the most dangerous. Why is it so? Because it can cause the mutation in the DNA also, fine, mutation in the DNA also, and it is cancerous also. When it is cancerous, so that means this particular PM 2.5, this particular is very 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 pollutant, fine. So this is the biggest pollutant which is responsible for the air pollution or deteriorating the air quality in the South Asia. So this particular thing is there. देखिए एक और चीज if I talk about in this particular report में जो चीजें बोली गई हैं, fine, according to the World Bank, अकॉर्डिंग टू द वर्ल्ड बैंक के अकॉर्डिंगली इस पर्टिकुलर रिपोर्ट में इसने मेंशन किया है कि जो कंसंट्रेशन है आपकी 2.5 पीएम की, दैट शुड बी लेस देन द 5 माइक्रोग्राम पर मीटर क्यूब. दिस डाटा इज इंपॉर्टेंट, फाइन. सो दैट मीन्स कि अगर आपके पर्टिकुलर मैटर की जो क्वालिटी है, फाइन, जो आपकी क्वांटिटी है इन द एयर, इफ इट इज लेस देन द 5 माइक्रोग्राम पर मीटर क्यूब, देन दैट इज अ सेफर लिमिट. देन दैट इज अ सेफर लिमिट, फाइन. इफ इट इज increasing this particular limit, then that is a problematic. But इंडिया की अगर हम बात करें, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट इंडिया, जो इंडिया ने अपनी खुद की एक सेफर लिमिट जो उसने डिफाइन की है अकॉर्डिंग टू द नेशनल एम्बिएंट एयर स्टैंडर्ड, नेशनल एम्बिएंट एयर स्टैंडर्ड के अकॉर्डिंगली हम जो कंसिडर करते हैं दैट इज योर 35 माइक्रोग्राम पर मीटर क्यूब, फाइन, फॉर द PM 2.5, एंड दैट इज फॉर द शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए, शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए. दैट इज आवर सेफर की लिमिट है, फाइन. सो लेट्स just see the comparison between the what World Bank is saying and what we had chosen our very safer side, fine. So that is for the short term is the 35 microgram per meter cube, fine, and for the long term के लिए 12 microgram per meter cube, that is for the long term, fine. So this is the safer side which we had taken, but according to the World Bank, if it is going beyond 2.5, then that is the what, that is if that is something very deteriorating kind of, fine. So this is the particular thing. And one more thing this particular report is saying, fine, see one particular very important next जो इसमें इस particular report में एक और चीज इसने highlighted की है, that is your, okay, देखिए one more thing this particular report is saying, what are the factors जो globally responsible हैं और the dominant sources जो हैं air pollution के लिए. South Asia की countries के there are the certain specific culprits is there, fine. So that means जो हम specific culprits, fine. So that means there are certain specific causes हैं, specific आपके sources हैं which is responsible for the air pollution deterioration in the specifically in the South Asia, fine. Which are those? First is your, it is saying your solid fuels. So that means जो black carbon की जो concentration है, fine, in the South Asia region, that is very very more. So that means कि lot of coal का use जो हो रहा है South Asia में बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है, fine. So that need to be what reduced. How we can reduce it, fine. So we have to switch into the green energy resources, fine. Along with that, it is saying that जो emission हो रही है, emission from the small industries, that is also again a challenging problem, because you know that most of the South Asian countries, they are in the developing phase, fine. So that's why there's a lot of small industries is there, they are not having that much technology in order to what, filter the air pollution and all that. That's why this is another biggest culprit or the dominant sources which is responsible for the polluting the air South Asian countries. Along with that, one more is your, that is your burning of municipal, जितना भी आपका municipal हो गया या आपका agricultural waste हो गया, fine, agricultural waste हो गया, this particularly these are the three particular culprits which can be seen in the South Asia. So that means अगर specific culprits हैं, so that means specific strategy is needed, fine. So that means specific strategy is needed. But if I talk about your dominant sources of the air pollution globally, then again those conventional reasons, like your, there are the certain large industries is there, large industries, then your power plant, again this is the culprit, and your vehicles. So that means ki why this particular report, what it is telling us, that there are the certain specific reason for deteriorating the air quality in the South Asia. That's why these all countries need to collaborate, fine. Then only solution can be traced, fine. Along with that, so these are the certain things, fine. In conclusion part, what we can write or what we can mention is there, दैट कंक्लूजन में अगर हम बोलें अगेन दैट इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच, दिस इज नथिंग बट द इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच इज नीडेड, फाइन. सो दैट मीन्स हमें जो है दैट इज योर इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच इज नीडेड. Okay, integrated approach, fine. So that means all the countries which are falling under the airsheds in the South Asia, they need to tackle this particular problem in an integrated manner, fine. Why I'm saying integrated manner? Because देखिए अगर suppose कीजिए कोई एक country जो है या एक particular city, if I take an example of your Delhi, let us take your example of the Delhi, fine. It is saying that even if Delhi is taking your 100% of the efforts in order to tackle your air pollution, what will happen? It will not be able to to find a solution to it, fine. It will drag the time limit also. जैसे for example अगर मैं दिल्ली की ही बात करूं, if it is taking like 100% of the effort is taking, then only it will be able to prevent the concentration of the PM 2.5 only up to the 35 microgram per meter cube by 2030, fine. So that means किसी एक से नहीं होगा, we have to do a very collaborated efforts, fine. So that's why a very full-fledged, or I can say very full integrated or coordinated efforts, coordinated effort जो है that is needed, fine. Then only this report is saying we can bring down this particular PM 2.5 level का जो है, that we can reduce it into 20 microgram per meter cube. So that means there is the need कि जितने भी आपकी साउथ एशियन कंट्रीज हैं उनकी अप्रोच को जो है जो टैकल करने की है, हाउ टू टैकल एयर पोल्यूशन, उसको चेंज करने की जरूरत है, फाइन. So this particular report was in news, fine. So this particular report is very very important for your mains perspective also and your prelims perspective also, fine. So let's track some small prelims oriented news, fine. ये आपका एक one particular news was there, that is your unprecedented bomb cyclone in the US, fine. तो जो NASA Earth Observatory है, that has shown that the blasting of the Arctic air will plunge the south and help trigger a powerful blizzard that will churn through the central and eastern US, fine. So देखिए ये जो बॉम्ब साइक्लोन का concept है, cyclone we all are aware, this is nothing. आपका center में there is a low pressure region is created, fine. And आपका यहाँ पे क्या होगा, what will happen, winds will move from high pressure to low pressure region, fine. And what is happening in the bomb cyclone, fine, what is happening is in the bomb cyclone, this particular region at the center में जो आपका लो प्रेशर होता है वो बहुत ज़्यादा इंटेंस हो जाता है. सो दैट मीन्स एट द सेंटर वेरी इंटेंस लो प्रेशर इज जनरेटेड. जब इंटेंस लो प्रेशर आपका हो जाएगा एंड दिस पर्टिकुलर intense low pressure it decreases to by at least 24 milligrams in the 24 hours. जब इतना ज़्यादा pressure reduce हो जाएगा, what will happen, it will lead to the huge heavy precipitation and thunderstorm, fine. So this particular एक term which was in the news, that is your bombogenesis. This is nothing, this is a technical term. Bomb cyclone is nothing. What is happening, जो आपका center का जो आपका low pressure है, that is getting very very intense, fine. So this was in the news, fine. Then again one more news was in the एक news थी, that is your connecting your all the northeast capitals with the rail line, fine. तो यहाँ पे क्या है, 3 आपकी स्ट्रैटेजिक रेलवे लाइन जो हैं उनकी फाइनल जो लोकेशन का जो सर्वे था, दैट इज ऑलरेडी डन बाय योर गवर्नमेंट, फाइन. सो दिस पर्टिकुलर जो आपकी रेलवे लाइंस हैं दे आर इंपॉर्टेंट. व्हाई दीज आर इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज दिस विल व्हाट, आपकी जो बॉर्डर एरियाज की जो स्काई करनी है, दैट इज वेरी इन अ वेरी robust manner में that can be done. So that means it will not only cater your military wide needs, but yes जो आपकी tension rise हो रही है चाइना के साथ, that can be tracked in a very well mannered, fine. So यहाँ पे जो आपकी key lines थी for which the work was speed up, they are कि 200 किलोमीटर की जो broad gauge है, that can be line between your this particular Balkumpong to Tawang in your Arunachal Pradesh. Then again 87 किलोमीटर की जो line होगी, that will be 12 between your Silak Pathar, that is in Assam से लेके आपका them in your Arunachal Pradesh. Along with that आपकी 217 किलोमीटर की जो line है, that is from Rupai Assam से लेके Pasai Ghat in the Arunachal Pradesh, that can be laid down, fine. So this particular news was in आपकी न्यूज में थी, so this is important, fine. The next is your Parlay Ballistic Missiles clear to IF, fine. Indian Defense Ministry ने क्या किया है, it has cleared the procurement of around 120 Parlay Ballistic Missiles from the Indian Armed Forces, fine. So this particular ये जो है मिसाइल, these are important for your prelims oriented, fine. सबसे पहले हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि what is the range of it, fine. So this is your surface to surface, short range ballistic missile is there, fine, it is developed for your battlefield use के लिए. Currently अगर if I talk about your ballistic missile, it can target from 150 से लेके 500 किलोमीटर तक, fine, but it is very difficult for the enemy to intercept through the intercepted missiles, fine. So the missile guidance जो system है that include state of the art navigation and integrated avionics, fine. So India जो है that now has permitted the use of your ballistic missile in the technical role also. Therefore ये जो acquisition है आपकी ballistic missile का, this is very very important for the development of the significant in the development of the nation, fine. So this particular news is important for your prelims oriented also, fine. Then final news is your payment system operators to report the fraud on RBI DAKSH, fine. So ये जो DAKSH है, fine, this is very important. This is nothing but this is a web based end to end workflow application जहाँ पे क्या होगा, RBI जो करेगा वो monitor करेगा आपकी जितनी compliance requirement है in a very very focused manner, fine. In order to, why it is doing, in order to improve the what compliance culture को develop करने के लिए, fine, चाहे वो banking है चाहे आपकी non banking financial company है, fine. So these are the certain small news, fine, for the prelims oriented, and that is very very important, fine. देखिए why whenever you are doing any mains answer writing, these particular dynamic portion is very very important. Why? Because देखिए जब भी आप GS का कोई आंसर लिखेंगे, if you are not substantiating it with your current affair, your answer will be incomplete, fine. So that means you have to use a very very novice, और जो आपका करंट में आपका जो फैक्चुअल डिटेल्स हैं, करंट डाटा है, उसको अपने GS में आंसर राइटिंग में if you will not substantiate, your answer will always be incomplete, fine. So these are like current affair is playing a very very major role, fine. So these are the certain about your weekly current affair, so stay tuned and connected.